What's going on? It's Trending Story. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more well informed, make sure to subscribe and activate the notifications bell so you don't miss anything.
An amazing story about how kind hearts helped each other in the most difficult moments of life. A vagabond living in a small hut nears the train station, and there he was caring for a small Caucasian dog who was found lost at the station door. The man used to share his food with the dog, cover him when it was cold, and he would take it with him to his hut when it was raining and raining. The villagers noticed that the homeless man and his dog had been wandering around the village for 5 years. As they noticed that they got along a lot and took care of each other, the man wore worn clothes, but he was keen to wash the dog and make it look decent, and he used to enter the store and buy dog food for him, just as people who have domestic dogs do. One day, a young woman approached the dog and the bumbling man and kept petting the lovely dog. Gave him some food and then asked the homeless man for the dog's name. The man said he was called Kira, and she was a female who was found as a small pup at the door of the station, wrapped in a blanket, and since then he has taken care of her. The young lady was very happy when she heard the story of the bitch and admired her name. Meanwhile, a small puppy came out of the homeless man's hut and approached the bitch. Then the young woman looked at him and expressed her great admiration, as she immediately carried him in her hands and began to caress him. The vagabond said the puppy was the son of Kira and he was called Persik. 3 days ago, she gave birth to young pups, but 2 died from the cold. The man said he did everything he could to warm him and save him from death, and he succeeded. The young woman felt very sad when she heard the story of the poor dog and her puppies, and she tried to give the man some money to take care of the 2 animals. But the man refused that and offered her to take the little puppy with her because he is not able to take care of him and his mother together, and the winter season is approaching, and he is afraid that the little puppy will not be able to resist the harsh cold and may die from the severity of the cold. The hobo promised the young woman that she would not regret taking the dog because he was cheerful, obedient, intelligent, and also absorbed very quickly. The young woman agreed to the offer of the homeless man because she loves dogs very much, and she lost her dog a few days ago because he was too old, but in return she did not want to take it from his mother, who was looking at him sad. The bitch did not want her puppy to move away from her, and she was aware that he would be safe in the company of that kind young woman, which made her completely calm when the young woman took him and left, and only watched him. When the young woman took the dog to her house, she found that it was a distinct dog, just as the vagabond told her, because he was having fun and playing all the time, and he used to live in her house from the first day, which made the young woman very happy to be with her and take good care of him. The young woman used to go whenever she had the opportunity to the homeless man and give him food for him and the dog Kira, and he also gave him men's clothes that she kept in her home, some blankets and mattresses, and she would sit with him and chat together. I found that the man was smart and wise, and that the harsh conditions made him live by the street. The man told her he was named Mark, and he was a successful businessman. The man married a young woman, but she separated from him because she discovered that he was sterile. Then he left the apartment that he owned for her and left to live in his hotel in the city. The young man met another woman and he loved her a lot. Then he married her, and they moved to live in his new hotel. And with the passage of time, his company went bankrupt and accumulated debts. He was forced to close the company completely and sold the hotel in order to pay off the debts and rent an apartment in which he could live with his wife. And when he finished paying the debts, his wife fell ill with cancer, which made him transfer her to the best hospitals in the country and pay large sums for her treatment, but he was unable to do so and his wife died. Mark had only a small amount of money left, and since he was greatly affected by the death of the woman he loved, he became addicted to drugs and drinking alcohol and spent all his money in bars, and when he went bankrupt, the owner of the apartment evicted him from it because he had not paid 3 months' rent. Then he found himself in the street without a shelter. Mark was forced to build a hut outside the city near the train station and stayed there alone without a friend, but his life changed when he got to know Kira. When he took care of her and considered her as a friend, while she attached herself to him and refused to leave, although many people came to her to adopt her, but she refused and decided to live with Mark. The young woman Alina was very moved when she heard the man's story and offered to send him to her grandmother's house in the village to live in it for free, but he refused and told her that he was satisfied with his life with Kira. The young woman kept thinking, then told him that she had a friend who owned a construction workshop and that she would be happy if he came to work with her. The man did not immediately give the young woman an answer and promised her to think about it. Then the young woman left for her house and told him that she would return the next day to get a final answer from him. When the young woman came back to us the next day, she found the man wearing clean clothes and shaved the beard, and he told her that he did not sleep the whole night, and he kept thinking about the work that she showed him, and told her that he decided to work and go while he and his dog to sleep in the house that she told him about. The man now works in the workshop and goes to bed at the house, which is about 15 kilometers from the city, where he leaves the dog there and goes to work in the morning and returns in the evening, while Alina takes Persic and goes to visit them there. One day, when the young woman returned from work in the evening, she noticed that Persic was making strange movements inside the house and was very tense, although he was usually calm and never bothered her. Alina felt that the animal wanted to tell her something that was happening, so she carried it and immediately left for the house where the homeless man lives in the village. The weather was snowy and the fog was dense, and the cold was freezing, which made the young woman think about going back to the house. But the dog was determined not to return, which made us ride the train and go to the village. When the young woman arrived at the station, she found that the weather had worsened, as the winds were blowing and the snow was falling heavily. She was forced to walk a kilometer in the snow. The young woman kept walking in the middle of the snow, carrying her dog with her hands, but she was very tired because the snow was thick. Then she fell to the ground and lost consciousness. Meanwhile, Persic jumped out of her arms and tried to help her, but he could not. Then he hurried to the wooden house where the participant and his dog lived, brought them and returned to the place where the young woman was lying unconscious. The man carried Alina in his arms and took her with him to the house.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.